Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Here is a video of my 2025 bullet journal setup. If you are wondering what I'm doing, I am pouring some ink to be used for some Chinese calligraphy writing. I have been into calligraphy writing in English for quite some time now, and I have thought of incorporating Chinese calligraphy into my bullet journal for the next year. I have seen so many bullet journal decorations or writings where we incorporate calligraphy to make it more vintagey and more pretty, and so I thought why not I do it with the Chinese characters as well. Back in primary and middle school, calligraphy writing is part of our Chinese language exams. And we even have calligraphy competitions for students as well as another one that is open for the public. Back then, I used to dislike having calligraphy sessions in school because it means that we need to bring in our supplies and the ink stinks. However, looking back now, given the rise of technology, I've begun to slowly appreciate the art of manual handwriting. And thus, I thought it would be a good idea to incorporate Chinese calligraphy into my bullet journal, and I could also practice writing in Chinese again as well. To start off 2025, I won't be using a new planner as I still have a lot of pages left in my current one, and so I am starting halfway throughout the book. Here I am using a koi coloring brush pen to write out the 2025 numbers. Next, I am grabbing a red stamp pad to stamp my thumb onto the page. I'm doing it 4 times to write 2025 on top of it. The 2025 that I am writing in Chinese is a more traditional way of expressing the numbers. It is less used in the modern context. As you can see, my calligraphy writing skills isn't the best. Some words turn out big and some words turn out small. This type of flaw is what would make a person's calligraphy writing less favorable to win in a contest. However, I really don't mind it in my bullet journal as I am ready for it to be pretty messy and pretty chaotic. The end of year season is taking a toll on me, and I am so ready to embrace the trust the process vibe, even though the process does not turn out to be perfect in the end. I have contemplated for long on what type of decoration or vibe should I be going for my 2025 dividing page. I still could not decide, and rather than waiting for the perfect moment, I decided to just go with whatever decoration that I love, which happened to be cherry blossoms, and I happen to have a lot of cherry blossom stickers and washi tapes. On the next page, I am going to go with some Chinese-inspired decorations. The Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year falls on the end of January in 2025, and I have been thinking of using a lot of Chinese-inspired decorations for my January setup. And that's why this type of decorations has been on my mind for quite some time. On this page, I am writing my Q1 goals. For the past couple of years, I have always written my yearly goals. However, I do find that they are hard to keep track of and hard to maintain the momentum throughout the whole year. Plus, my situation changes, and there may be new goals halfway throughout the year, and there are goals that are no longer relevant. Therefore, rather than doing a yearly goal setup, I am doing a quarterly goal setup for this time round. On these 2 pages, I am writing my future log. As the remaining pages of this bullet journal may not be sufficient to sustain me the whole year, I am only including the future log from January to June. I have long hesitated to buy these stamps or any stamps at all because I kept wondering why would I need to buy extra stuff when I can just write them out with my own hands. However, I have been looking at a lot of Plan With Me videos where people use all sorts of stamps and they look very fun. And therefore, I decided to give in. Once I tried this out, I felt that it was really therapeutic. Although it does take time to stamp all of these individual calendars out, the process is quite meditative. As you can see here, not all of the ink from the stamp has transferred onto the paper because of the uneven pages behind it. But I didn't mind it not being perfect as I could always handwrite the missing dates in. Plus, it looks more journal-y. My preferred planning week starts on a Monday. However, the stamp came with a Sunday start, and therefore what I did was that I first stamped the Monday to Saturday, then I stamped in the Sunday separately. These 2 pages will be my reading log. At the beginning of the year, for the past couple of years, I have set a goal for myself on how many books I want to read for the year. It can be a mixture of fiction or non-fiction books. However, comics, graphic novels, and mangas don't go to the count. This is a personal system I set up for myself as I know that I would read a lot of comics and mangas, and I could easily cheat my number if I included them in my count as well. Other than that, there is a non-negotiable that I have in my yearly reading goals as well. It is that I need to read at least 1 book in the Chinese language. This is because that the society that I live in at the moment does not speak Chinese as a main language, and I do not want to lose my ability to read the language. I know that I can always rely on social media to read posts in Chinese or interact with my friends in Chinese. However, those type of media is only meant for short-term attention span kind of things, and they are not useful for me to express myself in Chinese in a long-form content. I guess you could say that it is similar to how Gen Alpha is using words like Riz, Sigma, No Cap to express themselves on social media. And my concern is that if I only expose myself to this type of expression, I will eventually lose my ability to express myself in the plethora of beautiful words that exist in the language. And therefore, I hope to keep up my reading of books in the Chinese language as well. Next, we have the vision board. I prefer to have it in my bullet journal for this year because I have a lot of cutouts of my favorite things and things that I aspire to be, and I want them to be in my journal rather than hanging it on the wall where I am not usually at home to look at. I do not have much materials to paste into these 2 pages at the moment, but I am planning to go on Pinterest and look up pictures that inspire me to print and to paste them into my vision board pages. The next 2 pages will be my dopamine menu. If you haven't heard of a dopamine menu, it is basically a list of activities that you can do to increase your dopamine in the brain. There are times where I feel overwhelmed and instead of doing something productive, I just rot in bed. And therefore, I thought that having a dopamine menu ready in my bullet journal would be helpful because it is an easy access list of activities that I can do to fill my bucket. So these are the basic setups that I have for my 2025 bullet journal. I may not have a lot of features as other bullet journal creators do because I either track them in another method or I do not need to track them at all. So if you are setting up a bullet journal for yourself and are worried about being perfect, here's a PSA to say that you don't really need to have features that you don't use in your bullet journal. And that your bullet journal should be something that makes your life easier, not harder. And here's me adding random stickers to the pages to make it look more lively. here's the semi-finished look where I have filled in a bit of my goals. I haven't filled in them perfectly as I think that I will need time to think about what is important to me that I want to include in my bullet journal. I filled in my dopamine menu with a quick brainstorm of activities that I like. This is not a comprehensive list and I will be adding more in the future. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Happy planning!